Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something completely different, or a little bit different than what I have talked about in the past. And that is about my alternative certification teaching program. Yes, I have been in the process of becoming a certified teacher in the state of Texas since late October. And it's finally come to an end because I finally passed all of my exams. I had to take an EC-6, which is like the core subjects of early childhood through 6th grade. I had to take that exam, and I had to take the science of teaching reading, which is mandated by the state of Texas. And I'm going to show you guys what I used, how I used it, and what my true and honest opinion of them are. No, I am not sponsored by any of these companies or any of these books or anything. This is just what worked for me and what didn't work for me. Starting off with certified teacher. Certified teacher was actually mandatory for us. In order to get approved for us to even take the test, we have to go through certified teacher. Certified teacher, to me, it was okay in terms of being able to have like practice questions. But once you take those questions, they kept giving me the same questions over and over again. So I felt like I wasn't really learning anything. Certified teacher was okay for EC-6, but I kind of liked it a little bit more for the STR, Science of Teaching Reading. Great practice questions. I will say certified teachers' questions were a little bit harder than the actual exam. So overall, it was okay. But I do know for some programs, you have to go through certified teacher. You have to use it. But I might talk about certified teacher a little bit more. I'm going to get into the books I used. So let's switch over to EC-6. This book right here, make sure y'all are able to see it. It's test prep book, core subjects EC-6 study guide. This book actually was not that bad, but look y'all, like look. That's a lot of pages, okay? Mind you, I started my program in late October. I took my core subject exam for the first time in early December. So I really only had like a month and a half to 2 months to study for a test. Sure, you can probably read this book in 2 months, but whenever you're working and you have a life and you have a family and kids and stuff, it's gonna be hard to like read this whole book and like take all the practice tests and everything. Like this book has how many pages? This book literally has like 400 and something pages. It's a lot, okay? I highly recommend this book for certain sections. Now I know you get all the sections. You get English, math, science, I'm missing one. Social studies and fine arts. Yes, you get all the sections in this book, but it can be a lot, okay? I don't remember how much I paid for this book. I know it was more than 20 bucks. Might have been even more than 30. But this book had really good information. And of course, it comes with practice tests as well. Like, excuse me, as you can see, there's practice tests and it comes with answer keys. I would probably use this for the math section. It goes into really good detail. Like it explains, it kind of goes like from the beginning of like kindergarten math all the way up to 6th grade. I believe they even talk about like, they talk about like finances and stuff, like checkbooks and stuff. And I'm like, that's a lot, you know what I mean? But it does cover a lot of good stuff. If you're someone that learns from reading and you learn from taking notes, here you go. Here you go for the core subject exam. I would recommend this book. I do know there's another book. I did not get that book. I don't know why I did it. I just found this one and I went with it. So I got this bad boy from Amazon, maybe 30 to 40 bucks. I'm really not sure. I wish I could remember how much it was, but this one for the EC-6. Now I'm gonna go into a different book, which I am going to post right here. This book right here, okay. I will say if it wasn't for that book, I don't think I would have passed my STR. Very helpful, okay? Literally, I truly do mean this. The definitions, the examples, and the things they talk about in the book, spot on. I'm talking like, I was reading this and then I went to go take my test and I was like, wow, like, I'm glad I read over this. I'm glad I, you know, read this page and read the whole section. That was a very helpful book. I read that book for about 2 weeks straight. And I felt very prepared. They also have practice quizzes in there as well. They give scenarios, of course. There's even a little section about, I believe there was a section about the essay. I'm really not sure. And I would show you guys the book, but I cannot seem to find it anywhere. Like, I don't know where I put the book, so I just put a picture of it. But very helpful book. I used that and I used 240 Tutoring. I used 240 Tutoring for EC-6 as well, but I used 240 Tutoring way more for my STR. You guys, even if you don't buy any of the books or anything, please use 240 Tutoring. 240 Tutoring helped me so much, okay? Coming from someone who's been out of like grade school for a while now, like I graduated high school in 2016. Like, no, I'm not old, but I'm not like super duper young, you know what I mean? So I've been out of grade school for a while, and the math and social studies and stuff we were learning in college is way more complex than the stuff that we were learning in grade school, yet it was hard to kind of remember, you know what I mean? So for 240 Tutoring, that's your way to go. Yes, it is a fee. I do believe it's $39.99 a month. I don't want to say it. Yeah, I think it's like 40 bucks a month. But y'all, okay, it breaks down every single section. It breaks down every single domain. It gives you the actual lessons. It explains like what is it that they're looking for. It gives you examples. It shows you, there's videos, and you get to take practice quizzes, and then it leads you to a practice test. Of course, you have to pass like 90% of, not pass, but you have to go through 90% of the lesson in order for you to get to the practice test. But y'all, 240 Tutoring, to me, 240 Tutoring was way better than Certified Teacher. I learned a lot from 240s, especially for the STR. For the EC-6, I will say 240 Tutoring was a lot of material, okay? But it did help. It did help a lot, especially for math. And that brings me to another book. So for math, I used this book. It's a bright yellow book. Core Subjects Math 2023. So this is current for this year. And this is for beginners. Literally, if you are not the best at math or you've always struggled at math, this is your book for EC-6 math section. This is your book. It starts you off with, let's see where it starts off at. I want to say it starts with, give me a second, y'all. It starts with fractions and mixed numbers, like learning how to simplify fractions, subtracting, adding, anything with fractions and mixed numbers. That's what it starts off with. And then of course it's gonna get more complex as we go through, talking about functions. And then, y'all, look, a practice test. Awesome. So this book was really, really helpful. I will say I wish I would have spent more time in this book. I guess the only drawback to this is it's more of like work these problems out instead of how would you teach this? What manipulatives, that's a really hard word to say. What manipulatives would you use? This is more of like, do you know how to do the math? Which is important because on the exam, you will have to do some math problems. You will have to figure out some math problems because how are you gonna teach your kids what to do if you don't know what to do, you know? So this was a very helpful book for the math. And I'm just gonna show you guys one more time again. Again, all these books I got them from Amazon. I believe this one was like $14. This one was the cheapest one I got. And I think the STR book was, man, how much was the STR book? I really don't know. You know what? I'm probably gonna post a picture and show how much it costs. But yes, I would use that for the math because a lot of people struggle with the math, okay? A lot of people struggle with the math. I struggled with the math. I actually did not fully pass my EC-6 the first time because of the math. I made a 237, you need a 240. I made a 237 the first time, but the second time around, I made like a 268 because of 240 tutoring, this book, and I printed out 4th, 5th, and 6th grade STAR tests, and I studied the heck out of them for math. I can guarantee you, I feel like that's part of the reason why I ended up passing on my second try, because I actually took the time to work out the problems for each grade level, and I found where my mistakes were. I found what's my strengths and my weaknesses. So definitely look at the STAR test as well. What else can I give advice on? Okay, so let's get into some things that I would advise for you to do for EC-6 and STR. So for the STR, I recommend you use the STR prep book that I use that I talked about previously. And I would recommend 240 tutoring as well. Those are the two things that helped me pass. I used a little bit of Certified Teacher, but the STR book that I talked about in 240 tutoring, that is the way to go. That is the way to go. I passed in the first try, and that's really all I use. For the English, like language arts part of EC-6, I would recommend 240 tutoring, as well as a little bit of the STR book. The STR book for English, it touches on some of the same stuff, but it was a little bit different. I don't really know how to explain how it was different, but it wasn't so much about just reading. It also talked about fluency, prosody, things like that. I mean, that's a part of science of teaching reading too, but it talked about a lot of stuff with English and language arts. With math, print out 4th, 5th, and 6th grade math, understand how to do that. Of course, check in with this book as well. And if you're like me and you struggle with probability, statistics, those types of things, I would check out those sections on 240 tutoring. In terms of social studies, I haven't really talked about social studies, science, and fine arts, so let's get into that a little bit. In terms of social studies, the beauty about social studies, in my opinion, is it's really about if you know it or not. It's really about dates, important information, know things about Texas history, know about the Alamo, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston. Learn about what is some of the industries Texas has. Like we have oil, we have fish, we have cattle. Know about Texas history in general. Know your dates, as I said before. Also know about like consumers and goods and kind of like the socio-economic stuff. And I will say 240 Tutoring was great with that. There was even videos, really good explanations. But to me, social studies it's not necessarily easy, but it's kind of like, it's easy concepts to remember. Well, for me, it's kind of like a little bit easy. Science. When it comes to science, I would recommend 240 Tutoring. There's nothing else I use to study science besides 240 Tutoring. And I made a 274 on social studies using nothing but 240 Tutoring. I said social studies, my bad. With science, I made a 274 on science using 240 Tutoring. With science, I would recommend, know your planets, know chemical and physical reactions, know the difference. And those are all things that's explained in 240 Tutoring. Weathering, erosion, stuff like that. I guess another thing I forgot to mention and talk about is a lot of the things that you're gonna be like taught and stuff like that on 240 Tutoring and in other books and stuff is you have to do what's best for the student and making sure that it's like interactive, like doing the I do, we do, you do, the gradual release model, things like that. And let's get into fine arts for a little bit. Okay, so as someone that's been in the music stuff for a while, I started playing clarinet in the 6th grade. And as someone that knows fine arts very well, fine arts is not just about music, okay? It's dance, it's theater, and there's also health and PE incorporated as well. For the fine arts and the health and PE, just go to 240 Tutoring. Like, definitely just go to 240 Tutoring, because some of those questions are tricky. I remember on the 240 Tutoring thing, there was a question about like, what'll decrease someone's chances of getting cancer, and all of the questions, like not all the questions, all the answer choices were like really good answer choices, but there's only certain things that they're looking for that follows the curriculum. So 240 Tutoring is your way to go. So in general, I would highly suggest, if you have to do certified teacher for your program, of course, do that, get your hours. But I would highly suggest 240 Tutoring, this book for the math, the other book for the STR, and if you're struggling in a certain section, check this book out as well. These are the things that helped me pass my exam finally, and which led me to get a teaching interview, which I actually had a teaching interview today. But I will make a separate video about that, explaining like what I did, how I did it, what you need to bring, questions, how to answer it. I'll do another video about that. But that is all I have for you guys. Again, drop any questions or any comments in the comment box below, and I will try to answer them as fast and as quickly as I can. I do have a TikTok just for like teaching stuff, as I've never ever taught before. I am freshly new into the education system. I am 24 years old, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a teacher. Why not? So yeah, I'm just sharing my knowledge and what I did. Maybe what worked for me will work for you as well. But yes, I'm gonna put my TikTok that I go over like all my teaching stuff. I'm gonna put that TikTok in the caption as well. So yeah, you guys, that's everything I used to pass my EC-6 and my STR. So if y'all have any questions or any comments, drop them in the comment box below, and I will see you guys next time.